welcome. Thanks so much for your time and thanks so much for joining us this evening. I know that many of you in the audience have actually already been to one of the webinars, so there's a little bit more detail into the specifics in this one, but also for anyone that is thinking about applying or is in the process of applying, hopefully some of this information will help you. So BA Visual Communication online, just as a reminder, for this part of the webinar, if you keep your cameras and mics off, when we go into the Q&A, if you want to, you can turn your cameras and mics on. Otherwise, yeah, you can type directly into the chat and we can answer your questions like that. So we've got myself and Alexandra Lethbridge, who is module leader for BA Visual Communication Online. Alexandra, do you want to just say hi?
Yeah, hi. Lovely to have you all here and great to see that so many of you are coming back. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for us at the end, please feel free to, as Sarah said, either ask yourself or just to type in the chat box and we can go over anything that you want to know more about.
Yeah, so I'll just run through a couple of slides and then the Q&A will be at the end, and we're really excited to hear and talk to you, hear about your questions and talk to you a little bit at the end. So a course overview that's slightly more detailed, because I know that some of you have are in the position where you've accepted a place, and so want to try and cater to those of you that are in the process of applying, but also those who already know that they're on the course. Just talk a little bit about what it's like to study online, a bit more detail about the face-to-face events, and then the Q&A at the end. So the course overview. As you should know, this course is brand new. It's been validated this year, written this year, and we have collaborated with a number of industry guests from across the globe. This means that the curriculum is so contemporary and really exciting, and this course has specifically been designed to be delivered online, which is also very exciting considering also what's happening all around us. We have some brilliant guest collaborators, and I'll show you a couple of examples in a minute. We have some brilliant industry briefs that we're working with, and they will lead hopefully to opportunities for you. Some fantastic online tutors that will teach with you. They'll be your sort of first point of contact with the modules. They'll be running your webinars and tutorials and the live sessions that happen throughout the week. And this course is really there to help you challenge, inform, disrupt, help provoke both others through your work. If someone could just put their microphone, that would be great. Is that okay? Perfect. And to challenge, inform, disrupt not only others, but also your own practice. For anyone that's arrived since I started, just to let you know that this will be recorded, so we'll send you that recording after this. So we are going to encourage you throughout the course to develop and push your practice. You'll have online workshops, tutorials and webinars, and you will have critique sessions and presentations throughout the course online. A lot of questions that are coming up in interviews and kind of outside of interviews are more specifically around how it works. So just to go briefly over that, obviously you know that it's online, and each week you'll have lectures, workshops, tutorials, and there'll be a mix predominantly of pre-recorded lectures and workshops, and then tutorials and webinars will be live. So you'll have a mix of online and recorded, live and pre-recorded throughout the week, and you'll watch, listen to, read, investigate and share. We're really focused on how you guys are going to share and collaborate and communicate and talk through as a cohort that is global and remote. So we're working with you on an online studio where you'll get to share your work and your thoughts and references as you would in a studio if you were in a building together. You'll have some self-directed study, which will be things like your own investigation and experiments and reflections throughout the week. And over the course, you'll have a mix of group and individual projects. And the way that it works is that you'll be assessed at the end of each module, just so you're aware. Because this September will be the first run of this course, because it's brand new. We currently don't have any students to come in and talk to you about what it's like to study online or with us, but I have been working previously on the online MA, and I'm going to be putting together a really short interview with a student, just looking specifically at what it's like to study and work part-time and how she dealt with that. So that will be coming out to you via email quite soon. And just as a reminder, we're aware that you're going to be studying in your homes alongside other existing commitments, and the course is definitely built around that. It's an online course, but we want you to be exploring and investigating through practical means and bringing it back into the digital, and we'll be delivering workshops and provoking weekly tasks to help you do that. And this is an example of what the online studio might look like. So level 4 is all about building, level 5 is all about playing and challenging, and level 6 is about communicating and connecting. I've put some term dates in here with a link, and I'll send you the slides for this after today. But just for those of you that have confirmed places, I think that's probably something that you're interested in. And if you're keen to know when holidays are and things like that, please just get in touch with Ali Stillwell, who is the course coordinator, and you can do that through the website. Just Falmouth website, BA Visual Communication course. There's a little button where you can click contact us, or you can email me, whatever you like. But just to give you a heads up, I know some of you are thinking about kind of plans over the next couple of years. So those are the dates for when things sort of start and finish. And that is part-time, and this one is full-time. But as I said, you'll get the recording of this and you'll get these slides kind of sent to you with that link. So no worries about trying to furiously write stuff down at the moment. So course contributors, we've been really busy developing connections and collaborations with people that are going to feed into the course content, providing you with opinions and insights. And this week alone, I've been working with Anna Lomax, Isabel and Helen, Kate Moras, and Rob Lowe, who is otherwise known as Super Mundane. And there's obviously many, many more contributors that are inputting into the course, and they're really carefully selected to help you challenge what you think visual communication is and to give you an insight into different people's backgrounds and practices, how they've changed over the years, and also get your head around what the current, previous and future landscape of visual communication looks like. So face-to-face, not literally, but in-person events. As you hopefully already know from what you've seen online, each year there'll be 2 face-to-face events. One of them will typically be at a big global event. For example, this is Us by Night in Antwerp. And there'll be one global event and one in-person face-to-face at Falmouth, which is where you'll collaborate with each other, meet each other and the staff, and use the facilities. So for this year's face-to-face in-person events, the kind of global event will be in Brighton, and there'll be studio visits, and then you'll have the face-to-face event in Falmouth. And just to give you a bit of a taster as to kind of what we will be doing in that face-to-face in Brighton, we'll be going to, for example, this is a Gloucester Road studio which houses illustrators Sophie Hollington, Ed Tuckwell, Yanni Anavin, Will Richards, Laurie Avon. We'll be going to printers, so you can see how printing processes work. Stamper, which have a really great design department as well as a beautiful studio space. Doppel Press, which is a risograph studio. Daylight Studio, which is a photography and fashion studio. Lolly Studio, which is a animation studio. Built by Buffalo, which is a design studio that has a full pub downstairs. And also, whilst we're in Brighton, we'll be visiting, connecting with our industry partners. And just to give you a kind of overview, really, of what we will be doing, there'll be a curated list of studio visits and activities, and specifically we'll be connecting with our industry partners as part of that module at that time in February next year. But just wanted to give you a bit of detail, really, so you can get excited about that if you're already on the course, and just to also give you an insight if you're still thinking about applying. So this is your course, this is your future, and we're very much strong believers in challenging and provoking and supporting and nourishing. So you might come in thinking that you've got a very specific idea of how you want to be working and what visual communication is. And our role is to really challenge that, to challenge your practice, but to support you and guide you and lead you in a way that really excites you and makes you want to be making work. And in that sense, we're here to enable and to excite and to sustain. And we're really excited about working with you guys that are already committed and definitely on the course, that are in the audience, and also people that are thinking about applying. We'd absolutely love to have conversations with you if you're not sure, if you've got questions, and that's part of what today is about as well. I think a lot of questions that I've been getting are around what you need to have before you arrive. And just to give you a bit of confidence, you know, we've built into the course technical workshops that help to kind of level out people's skill sets and backgrounds, because you might be returning to education after a very long break. You might be completely refocusing or retraining, and we're very aware of that. So we've built that into the course so that technically you'll be able to build your technical skills alongside the research and making. And if you already have specific skills in one area, you can spend that time using that time to develop a different part of your practice. But we're very, very aware that you're all coming from very different backgrounds, and we're really excited to help you kind of carve your way and find your path as a visual communicator. So I will put this Doodle link in the chat in a moment, and it basically just asks if we're allowed to send you these slides and this recording. But really, we wanted today to be about a little bit more information for those of you that are going to be joining us in September, and some extra bits of information and insight just for those who are still thinking about it. And so if you if you click on that link, it will enable us to share these slides and to share the recording with you from today. And just also as a reminder, we'll send some emails through about, there will be an invite to Alexandra is going to do a professional practice talk, which will be like a taster session on Teams as well. That invite will come via email. You'll also have a few other things coming. So we have put together a list of resources to help get you excited. So things to do with videos and podcasts, and some things to read, watch, listen to over the next couple of weeks. So those things are coming via email, so please just keep checking those. And if you can just fill that Doodle poll in, that would be brilliant, because it means that we can just continue to keep communicating together and sharing everything that we're up to over the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to leave as much time as possible for you guys to ask questions. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. and we can open up for some questions. And if you're comfortable, you can turn your camera and mic on, or you can just type into the chat here. So hopefully you'll all get that. So whilst you're thinking about questions, I'm just going to grab that Doodle link and put it in the chat for you. There we go. If anyone
Hi.
Oh yeah.
Hi, I have a question. So I have a full-time job, and I know you mentioned there were some tutorials and live sessions. Is that going to be a challenge?
So you'll have, throughout the week, you'll have tutorials and live webinars. The webinars will typically take place at the end of the week, but they are recorded. So they'll often vary in terms of, so they might flip between PM and midday, for example, to allow for different time zones. So it's not the end of the world if you can't make a couple of those, but we do factor in kind of evenings and lunch times so that people can fit those around their existing commitments. But the webinar is somewhere where you would get feedback and ask questions, and that is really important. So we're flexible with the timings of those, but they're also recorded just in case, you know, you cannot make it. You absolutely cannot make it.
And they'll usually be an hour or so.
The webinar will be, around an hour. Tutorials will be slightly less. And you can also, there'll be other opportunities to get feedback throughout the week as well, which are asynchronous. So that online studio that I was talking about, you might share an idea or a bit of work kind of in progress, and your online tutor would be able to give you a bit of feedback on that, as well as your amazing peers and fellow students. And that is really to help support everything that we know you have going on around your studies.
Thank you.
Brilliant. It's really important. I think a lot of people are have the same questions around just how to kind of complement and fit stuff in around very busy lives and existing commitments. So yeah, we're very aware of that. And there is flexibility with the sort of times of the webinar, just to reflect that. Anyone else got any questions? Okay, here we go. Hi. As part of the application process, students have to submit a portfolio. What are the expectations with this respect? What criteria, qualities are you looking for? So, brilliant question. On the website, there is some guidance around portfolios and what we're expecting to see in there. But you can also, if you want to, just arrange to have a one-to-one with me just to go through kind of what you're thinking about putting in there before you submit it. That's just the contact button on the website where you can, it says, if you want to chat to us about your application, please just get in touch. And that will just ping the course advisor an email and she'll book it in with me. And I'd love to see your work and talk about that. In terms of expectations, we want to see that you're curious, that you're able to kind of put together a few images. It might be some personal photography, it might be some drawings, it might be some commercial work that you've done. It might be that you don't have any of those things and you're really not sure what on earth you're going to put in there. And Falmouth has thought of that, and they've developed this thing called the Falmouth Challenge. So I will send that out in the email that comes out with this recording, because it's really important. It's a good way of just putting together a quick portfolio that shows us how you get kind of from A to B, and it asks you to respond to a theme, and you choose that theme and create some visuals for it. So are you working on a portfolio, Stephanie?
Hi, I think it might be easier if I turn the sound on. Yes, hi, I'm Stephanie. Yes, I am working on a portfolio, but I'm kind of a newcomer to the field. I mean, I don't have any education in art or any specific creative background. That's why I'm a bit unsure exactly what are the expectations or what are the what to put in there.
Definitely. I think just we really want to see kind of how you think visually. So if that is that you're naturally more of a drawer or a painter or a sketcher, or you go and collect photographs and images, the Falmouth Challenge will really help, because you can just have a theme to sort of bounce off and respond to, and just make, 10, 15 images or 5 to 10 a little PDF of your work. It could be work in progress or just sort of sketches and thoughts. Part of the Falmouth Challenge also, you can put in some visual inspiration and visual references. Just make sure that it's really clearly labelled that that's not your work, but so we can see kind of what you're looking at as well and what you're interested in.
Okay, understand. You have a thinking process behind the creation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, if you want to have a chat about that kind of independently, just give us, just get in touch via the website. Just email over, and if you want to pull together a couple of images and talk through that, I'd love to have a chat to you.
Okay, happy to do it. Okay, thank you.
Brilliant, thank you.
I had a question. My name is Sophie, and can you hear me okay?
Yeah, all good.
Awesome. Sorry, just got children running around. I was just asking, what percentage do you think would be sketchbook and what would be computer work? Do you know what I mean? Or is it different with each student because everyone's so individual?
Do you mean on a kind of module by module basis throughout the course?
Yeah, like, are there some modules that are predominantly computer based, and are there some that are more sketchbook based?
So yeah, you all have individual ways of working, and typically some people will love to work in a sketchbook and others will work much more digitally, and we'll encourage those people that work more digitally to work more in an analog way, and the same the other way round. So there's no percentage or number or kind of rule for how you should be approaching each project, but it's a practical course. So it's like we're in the studio together, but it's just delivered online. And we will expect you to be kind of making things. If part of that week we're asking you to make something that is physical, the next week might be that you turn that into a digital. There's no kind of percentage of how much time you should be spending on each. It is very much where you'll all be coming from very different backgrounds, and we understand that.
Oh, awesome. And so you get the contact time with the tutor, and what does that look like? Is that over, unless I missed it, is that over like Teams, or is it over like video, or is it a call, or?
So your course will be delivered in a virtual learning environment, which isn't Teams, it's separate. It's called Learn. And it's specifically designed for you to be able to really easily navigate week one and click through and watch a lecture, and then you've got a task that you move on to do, and so on. It takes you through the week. At points throughout the week, then you'll have tutorials which we're going to be using Whereby, which is just a link. You don't need to download anything, and that's where you'll meet your online tutor. And then you'll have your webinars, which will be in that learning space as well, with the rest of your cohort. So yeah, the live stuff happens online, and we don't use Teams actually, but we wanted to use Teams for this because it's much warmer and friendlier for this kind of natural Q&A, as opposed to the other softwares that other people use for webinars.
Oh, great, perfect. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Look, any questions that anyone else has?
I've got a question. Don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, all good.
I'm Blossom. I wanted to ask about the online studio. Is that a sort of open all hours type environment, or is it set sessions within that studio? I've looked at the sort of image you flashed up of that and wondered how accessible it is.
So each week you'll have weekly content that you'll click through, and each week will have its own kind of online studio. So you'll be in there with your online tutor, your module leader, and your cohort. You'll all be posting in there that week. And obviously, because of time zones, some people might be posting in there slightly later or slightly earlier, and also because of commitments and responsibilities. It is sort of open all hours, but you're not expected to, you don't need to, you manage that in your time. You don't need to have notifications on to see any time. You check that when you check it.
Okay, brilliant. And then I just wondered also, you mentioned that each module is assessed at the end of that module. And is there a final piece or assessment at the end of each year as well, or is it just per module?
Yeah, so at the end of each module, you'll have an assessment hand in. So you'll submit that work online, which then gets assessed. You will also, throughout the course, have opportunities to exhibit your work as an outcome. That's what we're working on for the second face-to-face event in Falmouth. But typically you're just handing in at the end of a module. Okay. And that is the kind of, you'll have 12 weeks for a module, and throughout you be asked to do things, pull it all together, and you'll submit that at the end. Brilliant, that's great. Thank you very much. No problem. Brilliant questions. Let me just see if I can just grab this Falmouth challenge so you can have it now, in case anyone else is wondering about that. Is there anything you want to add, Ali?
I think we've got another question, possibly. All I was going to add was just to kind of reiterate what you'd said about portfolios, and just to encourage everybody to be very playful, experimental, like really try to have fun with the portfolio. If it is something that you're changing direction and you're not exactly sure what it is that you need to build a portfolio with, I would really sit and think about why it is you are changing direction and what it is that is appealing to you about the course, because we're here to encourage you and, as Sarah said, to challenge you, but in a really supportive environment. And that goes as far as your portfolio and your application. So yeah, try not to think of it as a big scary task kind of thing. Like really try and look at it as something that you can just have fun with and put all of like your creative, even if you're new to it, anything that you want into this portfolio. And again, any conversations that you have with Sarah or even myself about portfolios, yeah, we are more than happy to go over things with you.
Brilliant. Okay, sorry, bad timing, Sophie. Just
hi, it's Sandra. I have a question about the meetups.
Yeah.
So for example, you're saying it's Brighton and Falmouth next year. Oh, do we stay together or do we find our own accommodation, or and are there going to be some social kind of like evening things as well?
Absolutely. You'll have, so we'll be putting together an itinerary, and one of the reasons why I've selected Brighton as the first meetup is because as opposed to London, for example, and the current climate, we know Brighton's relatively safe and easy to get across and travel around, and most of those places that I put in are within walking distance, so we can do stuff together as a group. We can do some social things in the evenings and kind of build our community, and you, because of the fact that you'll all be coming from different places, you would be organising your own travel and accommodation, which means that you can control how long you want to stay for and how fancy your accommodation wants to be, and yeah, but the majority of that will be an itinerary that we put together, and you'll have, as part of that itinerary, some social events. Sorry, does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks, Sarah.
Perfect. Sorry, I said Sophie because I could just see Sophie's camera come on. Have you got a question, Sophie?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I feel like I just keep asking questions. But with the studying online, it says you can receive financial support. But when I clicked the link, I didn't really get much, like, anything. I didn't really know what was that.
So there's going to be some financial information that's going to come out to you via email. We've been waiting on the codes for the course to kickstart all of that, and that's just happened this week. So that's how new it is.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll keep checking the emails.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And sorry, one more thing. So you said you run different, like, online workshops and webinars and stuff like that. So just how do I put this? Like, if there's, I don't know, something we find challenging. Like, for me, I don't know anything about, like, game making or, like, illustration on the computer. Like, how would you tackle, like, if a student's struggling with, like, software or just stuff like that, if you've only got limited amounts of time of contact?
So that is what I was trying to kind of detail earlier with a lot of questions that I'm getting are around how much experience you should have before applying with technical softwares in particular, and we've built that into the course. So as part of your weekly kind of activities that you'll do asynchronously, so you'll do those in your own time around your own commitments, we have technical workshops in there with softwares that one person might have loads of experience with and another might spend a bit more time on that week. If that person who's got loads of experience is really familiar with that software, they'll be challenged to do something else in that time. But the workshops will be a mix of stuff that you do in your own time and live sessions. So that's how we get around that.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. Thank you.
Cool. Brilliant questions. Okay, I've put for Stephanie, I've put that Falmouth Challenge link in there just to help with portfolios as well. Hopefully that's coming up.
Yes, it's there. Thank you. So
perfect. But yeah, if you do want to arrange just to have a chat about portfolios or anything, any other questions that pop up kind of about the course, you can just use the course page to get in touch with us. But I just need to put this doodle link in again just to make sure, especially Sophie, because you've popped up on camera, just to make sure that we've got your consent to share this recording. Okay, any other questions? So I tried not to bombard you with loads of information at the beginning, but it's just really exciting, I think, what's happening, and we're really excited to work with you and to see some of your work and talk to you about your applications and help as much as possible in the lead up if you know that you've got a place. Any questions that come up in between now and September, please just get in touch any question at all, we're happy to help.
There's Sandra again. I have another question. I read somewhere that you'd be sending out possibly reading lists, and have we got any homework to do over the summer?
Sandra, yeah, so that was what I was trying to get at with the emails that are coming. So
Right.
one of those is going to be an invite to Alexandra's talk. Another will be a kind of it's less of a homework kind of reading list task. It's more to get you excited about what visual communication is. So instead of just a long list of books to go and find and read, I've put together resources that are also things that you can watch and listen to and find. So it isn't like hopefully it isn't your typical kind of homework task. It should be more of an inspirational kind of starting to fuel that fire before you arrive in September.
Great, thanks. I was using homework kind of loosely that term. Thank you.
I know, yeah, all good. Excellent. Okay, any other questions anyone wants to go through?
Maybe just do you have already an idea of how many students there would be in the class or in the program, or just how would the online collaboration be organized in the whole group or in smaller groups, or how is that envisioned?
So because September, this first cohort is going to be our first ever cohort, it should be around 20 students. And in terms of collaborating, you will throughout the course collaborate in small groups, in bigger groups, in smaller groups, and then work independently as well. And that collaboration is very heavily managed by the staff. We absolutely understand that trying to navigate and collaborate online with people that you haven't met in person before yet, and with different schedules and time zones, we understand that's a big ask, but so we take that on, and we help with things like templates and tick lists and stuff like that. So it's less about the kind of organizing and frustration around that sometimes, and it's all about working together and the actual collaboration.
Okay, thank you. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, anyone else? I suppose just off the back of that, yeah, the first cohort will be smaller as we've only been advertising for a little bit, and as the course grows, the student numbers will grow, and at those face-to-face events, so in your second year you'd be joined by the first years, and so a whole nother group of people to connect with and add to your networks and socialize with as well, and build that community with. So hopefully that also helps with your question. Okay. I'd just like to say again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for asking fantastic questions. Please just get in touch if you have any other questions that pop up that you want to ask. If you want to send through questions specifically about your portfolio, or you want to meet online, please just get in touch. Please do fill in that, click that doodle poll, just so we're able to send this out to you guys. And keep checking your emails for the kind of read, watch, listen resources that's going to come out, and the invite to Alexandra's talk as well. But yeah, please just stay in touch, and if anything does come up that you want to ask, please just get in touch.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Bye.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much for your
you.
time as well. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.